Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to night 2 of WrestleMania 40. With me is Mr. Delta. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Looks awesome from last night, but good.
Yeah. Talk about two pretty decent nights of WrestleMania, actually. Not much complaints from me. It was a little strange, but I can't really say it was bad either, you know?
How was it strange, out of curiosity?
The ending was the weird part for me, that we'll get back to, near the end of the night. That was the only weird part, just the ending. I didn't think it was bad, though. It was just so random. But it did have an old school feel to it, where it's like, out comes Cena, out comes The Rock, out comes Taker, and everybody's hitting finishers on each other. It had that old school feel to it, but it was weird because it was more that and less bloodline rules than I expected. I really thought the bloodline rules would play a bigger role in this, but we'll talk about that as well. Anyways, overall, what did you think of night 2, Delta?
I thought night 2 was infinitely better than night 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I thought overall, like, it was much tighter than versus night 1. Night 1, I said night 1's bad. Night 1 was good. I just thought night 2 is a lot better, more tighter than the previous night. So, yeah, it's good shit.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the same. Honestly, night 2 was much better. So let's start off with the first match of the night. I was not surprised they opened up with it. Really, I thought it was the best way to start the night too.
Agreed.
And that was Cody Rhodes versus not Cody Rhodes. Sorry, Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. Seth Rollins. But yes, this match was honestly pretty good. It was a pretty good match.
I thought it was great. I honestly was great.
Yeah.
And, like, even with the way Seth lost the match, like, he went out like the proper way, saying he earned it and everything. It's like, that's the way to go as a workhorse champion, you know.
He did, yeah. He did turn around and point to Drew and say, "You deserve it." So I was surprised to see that, but it was also it was so satisfying to see Seth Rollins crying. I was just like,
True.
Yes, cry, cry.
Seth and Becky really took a bunch of L's this weekend.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. Becky Lynch got her ass kicked. Seth Rollins got his ass kicked both nights. Looked like a loser. And then what's even funnier is when he came out as Rollins from the Shield and didn't really do anything.
The first time him ever main eventing, like, WrestleMania, he loses. Granted, it's against The Rock and Roman, but still.
I know. But I mean, it's worthy opponents to lose to. Absolutely worthy opponents to lose to. If I lost to The Rock, I would be grateful. I'm like, I gotta lose to The Rock? Hell yeah, that's good for my career, actually. I would absolutely do that. So, it was one hell of a performance. You could tell that they were selling the story on Rollins still being pretty beat up from night 1, which played a role into him losing. So, and I guess it didn't really lessen Drew McIntyre's W for me, because Drew McIntyre knew what he was getting. He was getting to beat up Seth Rollins, and that's what he wanted anyway, because he's a heel.
Even leading up to the, like, the event itself, he kept telling me, "You need to focus on me. You need to focus on me." So, like, I can't fault Drew. He was always telling him to keep the eye on the prize, but he wasn't. He was obviously focused on the bigger issue at hand for himself in his mind.
Too focused on The Rock. Way too focused on The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too focused on Cody Rhodes' business, really. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if tonight that plays a role into, like, a dissension where, maybe Rollins was.
I'm really looking forward to Raw tonight.
Man, I'm thinking there's gonna be a big reveal today. Like, I think we're gonna see a major return tonight from somebody. I'm not sure who.
Maybe.
But I'm guessing it's gonna be someone from the Attitude Era. Anyway, so Drew McIntyre wins with the Claymore, and he wins. He's having his moment, celebrating, rubbing it in CM Punk's face. rubbing it, and then unfortunately he turned his back and CM Punk punked him, and out comes Damian Priest, which we basically all expected to happen. It was just taking a while, and Damian Priest cashes in and wins the belt, and now Drew's crying.
And then that's the beautiful thing about it. Like he's crying, and like CM Punk's sitting there cross-legged, just clapping, like, "Good job, man. Good for you." That was like perfect. It set everything up the last couple of months. We've been dealing with Punk being harassed by Drew and rubbing it in nonstop that he fucked him over, and then like to see CM Punk fuck him over in the process at the end. Oh, it was beautiful. It's a perfect way to set up their match when it eventually gets cleared to go.
I gotta say, it was quite a historic night in Mania. This Mania, probably the most title exchanges in any Mania, huh?
I think everyone except Rhea and Logan exchanged a title tonight.
This is the most. I think this is the most amount of title exchanges in a while. Let's see, like the tag titles got exchanged. The Intercontinental belt got exchanged. The World Heavyweight title got exchanged twice.
Yep.
And the Universal title got exchanged.
And
then one women's
lost her title.
And then Io Sky lost her title. So that's a lot of title exchanges. And it's not even Night of Champions. You know what? I think that was the significance of WrestleMania 40. Like the ending of a lot of people's reigns. But Gunther shouldn't have lost it. God damn it. Still salty. Still salty. We'll die salty on this. I will never forget what Sami Zayn did.
You're gonna have it on your gravestone. Gunther should have still be champion. Right there.
My head's
on your tombstone. Gunther should still be champion.
Gunther should have still been champion. I still think it was the wrong decision, but whatever. I mean, a lot of people really like Sami, so. Alright. Anyway. The Final Testament. Karrion Kross and Authors of Pain. More like Authors of Brittle. These guys couldn't take a single punch on this match. Versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. It was a Philadelphia street fight, and it was actually quite entertaining. Quite chaotic. There was a table spot that he botched.
I saw that table just fold apart. Like, oh man, that was amazing to see.
I love how they had a spare table to fix it, and the audience is like, "Go for it anyway." It was pretty cool to see Karrion Kross and Bobby Lashley clash like that. It was fun. It was a mess, I will admit, though. At one point, I couldn't keep track of what was going on. It didn't end that well. The ending was just kind of... for me. But it was what felt like yet another SmackDown match.
Yeah, I'd say that. It's because even though it was a Philadelphia street fight, it was pretty tame compared to what you have, you know. But there's some good spots. Like Montez Ford had that one spot where he jumped off the top of the turnbuckle area. That was so insane to see that.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits pick up the win, which I think was the right move. I like Bobby Lashley with the Street Profits, but I just don't understand why he got this instead of getting to stay with the Hurt Business, which was a good.
I agree. Hurt Business was great.
They were awesome. I don't understand why they ever broke them up. Anyway, the next match caught me by surprise. It turned out to be a much better match than I expected originally. That was LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Honestly, I had no hype going into this match, but they started off right, brawling, and I was like, perfect. It was great, and it was awesome. It was chaos built around, and LA Knight picked up the win, which is the right decision.
Agreed.
Both men are in their 40s, which is crazy to think about.
They are.
They pulled off one hell of a match.
AJ Styles says he's almost he's at the tail end of his career. He said
he's like 47, I think, isn't he? Something like that.
He's got to be in close there. He's got to be in close.
Yeah. Knight countering the springboard 450 with his knees up. That looked pretty painful. It was great. The Styles countering the BFT and nearly turning it into a Styles Clash was a pretty sick spot too. It was honestly a much better match than I expected. I enjoyed it, and the right person won. So we'll move on from that, unless you have anything to say about it. Which
I agree with wholeheartedly with a lot of things we had to say. Like it was a good match overall. You know, you got the fans hyped up. You know, with LA Knight being out there, finally he has a WrestleMania match. You know, versus the previous. I felt like I even thought WrestleMania 39 he should have had a match, because especially being in Los Angeles at that point, he should have had a match, whether it be a basic bitch match or something. There, he should have been in there, but you know, it's unfortunate. But I'm glad he finally got his chance this time around to have something. Hopefully next time he comes to WrestleMania 41, he'll be in a title picture.
I'm Googling something right now, because what was the attendance that they pulled out for this?
They combined both days to like 145,000.
Ah, that doesn't count. Come on.
Yeah, I know. They're trying to inflate it a lot ever since like the stuff at Wembley. You know, so they want to like really inflate it for both nights, but just whatever. You know, they gotta do what they gotta do.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the United States Championship match: Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. This was a great match. I actually enjoyed this quite a bit more than the Intercontinental title bout. This one was, it felt like a straight up fight to the death for the United States Championship, and there's a lot of great spots. I was surprised Kevin Owens didn't win. The brass knuckle spot looked legit for a second.
Yeah, once they put the brass knucks out of the equation, I thought like, okay, now you have a chance to actually have Logan lose this thing.
Yeah, no. Logan Paul quite a few times did the lariat. I believe, and it looked pretty fucking smooth. And he did a double one on Kevin Owens and Orton. It was a sick ass spot.
Yeah, it was the what was it? It was the lariat. It was the lariat in the air, and then like it became a frog splash falling afterwards.
Yeah, that was
awesome.
That was fucking sick. Logan Paul is a generational talent. Shout out to him. I would not have been upset with either three of these men winning the title, but Randy Orton competing for the United States Championship feels like a downgrade for him.
He doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it, but I guess they put him. I mean, I think this match would have been better for like if you put Chad Gable in there. It would have been interesting.
Same.
Anyway, so yeah, in the middle of the match, there was a Prime bottle and there's a person in it. I had suggested throughout the night it was KSI. Turned out to be IshowSpeed.
Which is like the most outlandish thing ever, but man, was it so funny to see like this, like Twitter just lose their mind over IshowSpeed getting kicked so hard by Randy Orton.
Dude, he fucking what is it that I don't know if it was Corey Graves that said it, but they said he 300 him.
the 300 kick right there.
I think it was like McGaffey.
I love how they slowed it down to the kick. They slowed it down in the replay.
Yeah,
it's so painful. And seeing Speed just like slide across the floor basically after getting that hard.
That kick, I don't know if Speed sold that kick or if Randy really kicked him, because
he probably did kick him.
Randy, you could also tell Randy was getting satisfaction out of beating up a YouTuber. It was fun.
You even said it before, like he kicked him. Like, we don't have no beef. And all of a sudden, bam,
dude! And then I will say the RKO he gave him on the announce table kind of did scare me a bit. I'm like, is he alive after he hit it? Because the way his body just snapped in the middle of the RKO, I was like, his spine has to be cut in half. He's dead. I'm like, that's it. He's dead. And he looked like he was out of it for a pretty good amount of time there. Maybe IshowSpeed just knows how to naturally sell. The guy is good. If he was selling, because like, and not actually hurting, but Randy looked like he didn't hold back. He's like, yay! He almost looked too happy to do it. Yeah, it was painful. It was painful, but it was fun. Anyway, Logan Paul picks up the win. Like I said, I would have been okay with either three men winning. I don't really think Kevin or Randy need that title, though, because they've held, like, especially Kevin Owens, he's held the United States Championship so many times, right?
Yeah, and his United States Championship run he had previously was so great. I remember like, he was taking it serious when he was the heel at that time. And I think he lost to AJ Styles when
he lost to AJ Styles the first night.
No, I don't think it was the first night. I think it was like when he moved to SmackDown. Maybe when
Yeah, it was
happened.
the first night he moved to SmackDown,
Yeah.
but Kevin Owens has held the the United States Championship many times. I don't remember if he's held the Intercontinental. Has he? I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Probably has.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a fun match. I enjoyed it. Anyway, the next one was the Women's Championship match, Io Sky versus Bayley. This was actually a pretty good match. I was actually into it.
Yeah, same here.
I actually did get into this match. I was surprised the women pulled off a good one, and the storytelling was great. Fucking Io Sky pulling out the STF was a surprise for me. I was like,
yeah, that shocked me too. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
Yeah, she pulled out the STF. I was like, whoa. But obviously Bayley basically kind of got the Sami Zayn treatment where she had like a power up and then defeated Io Sky. Other than that, though, it was a great match. Both chicks deserve all the credit, and Bayley deserves the title. Io Sky did great. No complaints from me here. This was a great match. What did you think?
Like I said, for someone that really didn't have that much investment, because even then, like the build-up was kind of like weak. It's like, oh, she's gonna take the belt because like her friends are picking on her behind her scene, speaking Japanese behind her back or some shit, you know. But I don't know. Like you said, the match ended up being really good. Like overall, like I'm happy Bayley finally is back being a face again, but not being like that, naive doofus like, the hug me face for once. So you actually have someone to root for. So I'm glad to see that. So I'm looking forward to see what she does with this now.
Yeah. All right. And then we got finally the final match of the night, and it was long, but it should have been anyway. And it was an excellent match. Roman Reigns put in the work again. This was like his send-off match, right? I believe, because I don't think we're gonna see Roman. I think this might be Roman's retirement match, really, because Paul Heyman, like in a previous interview, was talking like during COVID, like that was gonna be Roman's retirement era too. But I guess now, after the long-ass title reign, the amount of prestige he added to that belt means a lot, He gave, so, I mean, it's no secret he lost the belt, right? I think everybody knows that. Yeah. So, it was a Bloodlines rules match, but the Bloodline rules never really played a role in this match, did they? Hardly.
I mean, they kind of did, because, like, here's the thing. I was happy with how it played out because every time, like, they didn't cheapen Cody's win. That's what I was happy about. It's like, I was more concerned of them cheating after 2 years of build-up. They cheat out and, like, make Cody's win cheap. Because, like, oh, someone came in and saved Cody and, like, by stopping Roman Reigns and, like, before he's going to take the win. You know what I mean? Every single time somebody were to interfere with the match, somebody on Cody's side would come and take out that person trying to interfere.
Yeah.
So that's what made it good, and it made sense for someone like John Cena to roll in there because he had a beef with Solo Sikoa, and because he's the last person he fought and went out, went away for a little bit. So it's good to see John Cena show up and The Rock come out. And, like, I'll tell you right now, when The Rock rolled in and sized up John, and they're both looking at each other, they're looking at the crowd. It felt like Hogan and The Rock back at WrestleMania 17. It felt like that kind of moment again.
Yeah.
So I was just like blown the fuck away and was marking the fuck out. I'm not gonna lie, like I felt like a kid again. So to see that happen, and now they're teasing like John Cena wants to come back like after the end of 2024. I'm looking forward to seeing him do one more title run, hopefully.
Cena's definitely gonna get. I always knew Cena would be the man that would surpass Ric Flair's record and get 18.
I think so too.
Like my money was always on either him or Randy Orton. I still believe that's what they should do. I still believe they should give Randy Orton his 17th win, and then have it be Cena versus Randy for the 18th time champion. Because
that'd be interesting.
Because I mean, the only other person close to Cena and Rick is Orton, right? I think he's like he's a 15-time world champion, isn't he?
16.
Where he's a 16-time world champion. So he's tied with Ric Flair as well, right? Or no?
Yep.
So
John Cena would have to win another one to beat Ric Flair.
So wouldn't that be an awesome setup? Like the stakes would be very high for that kind of match. I would so be invested in Orton versus Cena one more time for that And honestly, I would give it to Cena on that one because he's given. I mean, both these men have given so much to wrestling. It's insane, really. So, anyway, Undertaker coming out. What do you think that was about? Last minute booking decision.
Like I was saying earlier, I think it was. I think originally the way it was set up, it feels like it was originally planned for Austin, and they were hoping Austin would come through. And probably Austin looked at it as, he's very selective of when he wants to come back and everything. Nowadays, given his age and his current state with his health, he's not going to want to go out there unless there's like a story involved. He probably there's no story for me here. Why am I here? He said, forget about it. And Undertaker's already in town. He has his own event going on, so they probably use him as a backup for it. So I know there's fans that are probably digging through the archives and trying to find something like, there's a reason why the Undertaker was there. I don't know. It's kind of loose, but to be fair, it's kind of loose to have Austin there. But to me, I don't know. It kind of also does make sense to have the Undertaker there because he is still WrestleMania, even though he's not featured anymore in WrestleMania anymore. He is WrestleMania, and it's the Attitude Era kind of transitioning. Attitude, Ruthless Aggression, the PG era, all ending to carry over to the next era now, of the Renaissance era now. So it feels like you're getting the highlights of them. It's kind of like a love letter to like the previous eras. This whole match feels like that. Feels like a love letter, and it's a good way to top off and end off Roman's entire run as champion for almost the last 4 years. He went over 1,500 days of not being pinned in a singles match. He went over 1,300 days of being with that championship belt. If anything, like I told you last night, I would just wish the match was longer. If I was being quite honest with you.
Really?
I thought even prior to them having people come in, I felt like the match between Cody and Roman itself was really good.
Honestly,
the back and forth between the two of them was really good. Roman was feeding into the crowd and really trying to hype them up and bring them down when he wanted to keep their attention on him. I thought that was really good. Like, again, I think at the end of the day, people really would look back on Roman's run and more fondly than ever. And I don't think you'll ever see a run like this for a very long time.
It's not a
memorable run like this.
No, you're not going to get a run like this in the modern day anymore. This was people's equivalent to like Hogan's run. Hogan's sitting somewhere happy right now. Hogan's ego is, he's like, thanks, brother.
He was sweating for a minute. He was sweating.
Yeah, but anyway, it was again. So it was a great match. Cody got to finish his story. I didn't care too much about his celebration party because they had 20 minutes left on the clock, and I was surprised.
That's what bothered me. Is like there's 20 minutes of a celebration here, and I get you're trying to celebrate after a long era and you're trying to transition to the next era, but like you focus so much on Cody, you're not giving Roman any like send off kind of like deal, like almost like a good way to pass the torch along metaphorically to Cody to carry the company now that he's going to take a long break. Because I don't think this is the end of Roman. Even then, Triple H even hinted at that, like he's there's a big news story for Roman now. So
yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to set up a Undertaker versus Rock, or I don't know what the setup for these three legends is, because they all played a role in this final match, so it must mean something unless it doesn't mean anything. I mean, something's gonna have to come from it, right? I mean,
I would love Cena versus Rock one more time for a third bout.
Based on some of the footage we saw, The Rock can't really do much wrestling. He almost twisted his ankle just stomping. He rolled his ankle pretty badly in that.
Dude's got a ring rust, but if you keep him at it, you probably have, he can probably do it. He can probably pull it off.
Yeah.
I
mean, yeah, a lot of people should be pretty happy with the outcome, because it's like Cody got to finish his story. Roman is, not the champion anymore, which a lot of people were complaining about.
A lot of people are complaining, but I think they'll look back at it more fondly and they'll appreciate it a long time. At least I hope they do, because I was worried at first a lot of people are not going to appreciate what they got from Roman, because like that man really carried this company through dark times.
Yeah.
You know, so to see him carry the company to where it is now and hand it off to Cody, I hope people don't look back and say like, oh shit, we rooted for this guy. For Cody to take Roman out, and like Roman was like the one thing that kept this whole company relevant.
Yeah. At one point, Roman taunted a crowd member. It was actually kind of surprising.
Yeah.
He made a crowd member flinch. He scared the shit out of that guy. Anyway, so what did you think of the overall end to that match? You found it a little convoluted, or did you find it perfectly fine within like the story of what they were trying to do here? Or I mean, because for me, I'm still a little confused by it. I'm sure we'll get answers tonight, though.
Well, what do you mean? Like, what was convoluted exactly for you?
So, like, I just find it hard to believe Cena would come back a year later to go after Sequoia.
It wasn't a year later, though. It wasn't only a year later. It was over the wintertime when it happened.
Oh, yeah.
Back and forth.
Over the wintertime. Okay, yeah, that one. Jay and Jimmy made sense. Undertaker, I still don't get. I want to know where... I hope we find out tonight what that was about. Because I'm still I don't get it. He came to save this match, but... Is it because maybe he holds a grudge against Roman for losing to him?
Maybe. It could be that. It's a way to cost him his belt for after making him retire. It's possible.
Because I think it would be it would make sense because he's lost to Roman before at Mania, so it could work out actually. Unless Taker and The Rock are setting up for something, which I don't see happening because I don't think Undertaker should not wrestle. Please don't ever wrestle again, dead man. You're good.
Yeah, he wants to wrestle, even though people say please don't wrestle anymore.
Yeah, no, you can see that like glint in his eyes. He's like, yes, I want to do this again. I was like, hold on, no, that was a good. Be grateful you could do the choke slam, please. And it was The Rock, by the way. The Rock is still the king of selling. He sold a lot of stuff pretty well.
Yeah, he's still the best seller in the business.
Sold the spear, sold the choke slam, sold a lot of spots. The table spot. Yeah, no, he did. The Rock did his part. He did his part, and I was impressed that he was able to do much at his age. Overall, I would give this WrestleMania... I would give it an A, honestly. There really wasn't that much bad stuff. They didn't make it cringe, right? I didn't see too much shit going on that was cringe here. And it was just wrestling. It was just pure wrestling for the most part. They didn't waste our time with in-ring segments or anything like that. Probably the best WrestleMania in a long time. What do you think?
I would say it's probably the best WrestleMania probably since WrestleMania 33 with Roman versus Undertaker. That was probably the last good one, in my opinion. I thought the build-up wasn't that good leading into Mania, but this was a really good Mania. A lot better, in my opinion, outside of 39. It's 33 was like a really good send-off for because it was like an era. It was like a start of an era for Roman to finally become the starting point. Because remember, that was the year I think when Roman went up against Cena, when that whole back and forth when they had that he had a bad promo against Cena and everything. So that was kind of the tea leaves leading into what became Roman. Do we know him now? So it's a transitional period, and it's I don't know. It's a big culmination of everything we've seen the last 7 years, right there at least. And actually, realistically, 10 years because the thing about it too, the main reason why Roman lost at the end of the day is because Seth came out with his Shield gear on, because he fucked with Roman's mindset, because he had a chair, he had a chance to take Cody out with the chair and just win the match, but he looks at Seth Rollins with the Shield gear on and everything, and his mind is still fucked up 10 years later, and he hits him in the back as payback for what happened 10 years ago when he got betrayed by Seth Rollins. And Seth lands the exact same way as Roman did, hitting his head on the fucking bottom of the rope right there, exact same way. It's like poetic like storytelling. So
you know, looking at it that way, it makes sense. Yeah, I guess Seth came out there to distract Roman.
Yeah.
And help
which explains
Cody.
the handshake at the end between Seth and Cody. Because he knew it's kind of like the thing that was kind of like, you know, taking out the Thanos glove, the Infinity Stones for Thanos for them, almost like that kind of situation. Like, you know, Roman thought he had it, but no, like in kind of like Seth was the Infinity Stones basically.
Yeah, no, it was I would say that was good long term booking, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Honestly, I think what made this Mania so good was all that long-term booking finally paying off in this pay-per-view, right? Gunther's long title reign finally paying off as a big moment for Sami Zayn, right? Roman's incredibly long title run being a big payoff for Cody's future and the future of the company, you know, that sort of thing. And then long-term story booking with the Usos. Everybody really, honestly, everybody here had like a story moment that had been building with their characters throughout several years, and it was great to see the payoff. I mean, I like this form of storytelling. It's much better than how Vince used to have it, where characters had arcs every month. You know, one month,
right? And then forget about the previous shit from the previous.
Yeah, no, long term. Yeah, no, because it was so weird how like Vince McMahon would book things like Cena's dad getting his head punted by Randy Orton, and then like a year later they're shaking hands and tag team partners.
Yeah, it's so weird, right? And that's even the thing too. Like even Randy tried to use the punt last night.
Yeah,
we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, he was reaching at the bottom of his bag for that one, right? As Michael Cole would say, and
just like Sammy with the brainbuster.
Yeah, no, he delivered that brainbuster very well too. It was, it was a crazy night. So I'm quite satisfied. I'm looking forward to Monday Night Raw. It's gonna be must watch for me. I have to see what they're gonna, what the future is, what their plans are gonna be. Because imagine if Cody has to defend the title tonight.
Well, that's what I'm curious. Like, what's Cody gonna do? No, like, because you get all right. Here's the thing: this summer we have 6 planned live events planned out for the entire summer. There's a lot of shit going on here. So I'm wondering, what is the overall plan here, and how long is Cody gonna have that belt? That's the real question. Is it gonna be a long reign? Is it gonna be maybe a 3-month reign, a 6-month reign, a year reign at most? Then we'll move on to whoever's next. I'm wondering how that's gonna play out.
I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't know myself. I think because the most interesting thing about Cody, is that he's fun to watch when he's chasing the title, right? But now that he has the title, what do we do? Because usually once you give the champions the title, fans get over it real fast.
Especially faces.
Yeah, like people were always complained about Roman having the title, but by doing so, there was always somebody you were looking forward to take it from him. But like with Cody, it's like I guess it's gonna have to be Gunther. You have to feed him Gunther, which is gonna suck because I have a feeling they're gonna have Gunther lose that bout for the title. But if Gunther wins, then I don't see the title moving for a long time because but he lost to Sami Zayn, so his credibility just kind of went down the toilet. So I don't know. We'll see.
He's gonna build himself back up again.
He's gonna have to build himself back up by beating big names, real big names. And I don't know who they're gonna. Who they could give Gunther. I have a feeling maybe Gunther and Seth Rollins will have a match tonight. Or no, you know what? I don't think we're gonna see Gunther for a while. I think isn't his girl pregnant or something?
I don't know. I'll have to check on that.
No, yeah. As for Imperium, they didn't show up at Mania. Not a single one. Not a single one of them showed up at Mania. I don't even know if they were on the pre-show. I didn't watch the pre-show. So
there was no pre-show really. It was just the commentary. That's about it. There was no matches for pre-show.
Yeah, but Punk was there to celebrate with Cody at the end. I'm surprised though. Like the one person he didn't walk up to and say hi to was Cena in the ring.
Actually, he did.
He did?
Actually, yeah, we looked at. Yeah, he did. Talked to him briefly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So.
How wild is it to see CM Punk in a WWE ring again? Isn't it wild?
I mean, it's insane to me. I didn't think we'd ever see that again.
Yeah.
So.
Very.
Speaking of Punk, since we're already here, what's your thoughts right now on AEW about that whole talk about showing the all-in footage, or the backstage footage with Punk? Well, since we're already here and we're gonna lead into we're about wrapped up here. So, like, what's your thoughts on that whole situation? I think it's really not looking good for AEW, no matter what the outcome is, to show that kind of footage.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. Like, Punk doesn't look. I mean, to be fair, Punk is probably just good at not selling concern. But like, if there was any incriminating stuff there, then I think he would have been worried. Maybe have a cease and desist or something. But
maybe, yeah.
But he doesn't seem like he's convinced there's anything incriminating there. So show the footage. You know? Like,
yeah, exactly. Show the footage, see how bad it looks.
I mean, like, sometimes doing stuff like this can actually not favor you, so...
Like I said, I don't... my personal opinion, I don't see any positive outcome for AEW to show that footage at this point. You waited on it this long at this point, and you're only bringing it up now because Punk mentioned you in an interview.
I know!
Like, doesn't that look like you're being spiteful? If anything, you're proving his point of the criticism he has about your company right now.
Dude, I was looking at a picture of Tony Khan recently. I'm like, oh my god, he's clearly on cocaine. Like,
it does make you wonder sometimes.
Just his look in his eyes and his everything. I'm like, this guy is clearly on cocaine. Should not be running this company, like, at all. Like, when you're like high on cocaine, you are going to make bad business decisions, guaranteed. Like, 100%. He's just high off his mind. Absolutely insane. Like, AEW's history, when we look back on it, is just going to be a history of pure embarrassment for wrestling as an industry. Like,
they do it to them. They do it to themselves, though. That's the problem. It's like, you want to root for AEW. I loved AEW in the first year, and the main problems I have with AEW right now is that, like, they do good matches. Mm-hmm. But most of their stories are pretty weak. I think the only interesting match storyline right now for me, as a viewer for AEW, at the moment is Samoa Joe and Strickland. Strickland. Yeah, like right now is really good. Like, I'm really looking forward to see how that plays out. But other than that, I really have no interest in a lot of matches right now in terms of storylines for AEW. I'm hoping things get better, but the thing is, I don't like how Tony Khan's reacting to this whole thing with CM Punk by just like, we're just going to release footage. Why don't you just make a better product and prove CM Punk wrong by creating better structure for your company and show how you improved your product since Punk's left? Why don't you do that? I don't see why you're doing this now. Like, it just shows you're petty, and it doesn't make you look good at all in a positive light in terms of optics. So,
absolutely, you're right. Because, this company has fumbled the ball with just about every big name they've gotten in there. And nobody really leaves AEW with much good things to say, if you notice. So, they brought it upon themselves. I don't know how they're going to last another 5, 3, 2 years. I don't know. At some point, Tony's dad's going to say, I want a return on my investment. Where is it? Right? I mean, it's going to have to happen, isn't it? Like, I mean, isn't this wrestling company here to make money? So,
I think once, like Punk said in his interview, I think that, like, the company will last as long as Tony's willing to dump money into it. So,
fuck. Harsh words, but again, like, Punk was very enthusiastic the day you brought him in, and he left saying to himself, I will never go there again. How do you do that?
But he even said, like, his... here's the thing, a lot of people overlook a lot of things. What he said right there is he's saying, like, my experience with them was more positive than negative at being there. It's like, but, like, he's pointed out there is no structure there. When he got injured, there was no anyone from the medical field, like in the medical department for the company, to help him find a physical therapist, get him surgery taken care of or anything. That's why like his recovery rate for his current injury, the same injury, is getting quickly done over at the WWE versus AEW. You know, because there's no structure there, and there should be structure there because people should not like I don't. You got a billionaire, so not your little startup company. It's a billionaire funding a big promotion like this, and you can't have like, a simple department that covers, medical issues like this, especially a wrestling company. The fuck?
No, yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think even WCW could have been mismanaged this hard back then, which is crazy to say. Even ECW was more properly managed, and Paul Heyman was getting checks that bounced back all the time. So, it's not. I know people who listen are going to be annoyed because there are people, surprisingly, who still, cap for AEW to this day. They're just like, it's just my preference. I'm like, okay.
That's fine. If you have
more power, man.
I get you. I get you having a preference for it.
Yeah,
I get it. And I agree with you that, like, again, there's good matches, but then there's just a lack of storytelling I don't like.
Yeah.
And I feel like it lacks a lot of impact for a lot of stuff they're doing. Like, I don't like seeing Darby Allin going out there and throwing his body down and, like, basically putting himself in a paralyzed state potentially before the age of 40.
Yeah, and all for a company that may not even exist in a few years from now.
Exactly.
That's not worth. That is not like it's not like if you want to give this company your entire body like that, you have to ensure this company will even be here in 20 years. Like if you want to create a legacy for this company, like start with building the legacy, and not just like sacrificing your body as if this company has been around for like decades, and you're like, this is for the company, which is still crazy to think about, but that's a wrestler's mentality. You sacrifice for the company, for the business. That's the whole mentality. And I think these guys take it to a literal sense, though. Like, like I'm willing to die for professional wrestling. And I'm like, well, you shouldn't, because that's how you kill professional wrestling. People will be like, great, wrestlers are killing themselves. Let's not encourage this. Everybody stop watching because these people are retarded. And boom, you've killed wrestling by being a retard. So, like, that's happened before. Remember, after Benoit, wrestling took a significant dip. After Owen Hart, big significant dip as well. Like, every time there's a tragedy in wrestling, all it does is just hurt wrestling. So, please, stop killing yourselves for, like, a gymnasium's worth of an audience. Like, that is just...
Yeah, it's not worth it.
That is absolutely insane. So, I know there are people who live for this. They love it. They love doing it. This is what they get off on. It's insane to think about, but I don't know what to tell those folks, And the people who like watching it, there's an audience for it, so like, I don't know what to do. But, like, just don't make it mainstream, I guess. Don't put it on pay-per-views. Don't, launch shards of glass into the audience. Don't do shit like that. Like, always keep viewers safe as well. Anyway, we've been going on for 40 minutes, surprisingly. But I think that's the perfect cutoff mark, honestly, Delta. We've covered 2 nights worth of wrestling, back to back. So we should be absolutely proud of that. I've enjoyed it. I want to say it's been quite a ride watching this entire long-term storytelling pay off. Like we're here. We've been talking about for months how it would go down. And now, here we are, it's over, Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, we've been talking about it for so long. It's here and it's over now. So now, what now? Like that ending scene in Nemo where they, they finally escape the dentist's office in little bags and like, what now? That's
it's like now we move on to the next chapter. And so now we get to see the unpredictability even more because now we have a champion that's full time and anything can happen even more now. So
yeah, the belts are back.
More people can get pushed now more than ever that have been held back a little bit from a part-time champion.
Yeah, well, I hope Roman's, no pun intended, reign. I hope his reign taught people something, and that's that. Sometimes less can be more. Like the champion. I know people like champion every day, but like We tried that with Seth Rollins, and that was misery. Having to see that champion there every single fucking day. Like, I guess a champion should show up more often, but a champion shouldn't wrestle on TV shows that often, but they should defend more often. I don't know. It's kind of hard.
They should probably defend at least outside of pay-per-views, probably defend maybe once every 2 weeks, if anything.
Once every 2 weeks, yeah. Once every 2 weeks.
Maybe 3 weeks.
I think once every 2 weeks sounds pretty good.
It's hard because you're doing pay-per-views every month, you know what I mean? Leading up to the title event, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. It's not the Bruno era where, they had to defend multiple nights, which was kind of crazy. And they would have to travel to different territories. There was just more options, a bigger catalog of wrestlers to go through, Now, since WWE basically has, let's face it, a pretty strong hold on the wrestling market worldwide, it's like they're going to have to start building formidable champions. And honestly, like, Roman defended that title all across the world, didn't he? He defended it in Saudi Arabia. He defended it in the UK. He defended it in Puerto Rico. He defended it in... I would have loved to seen him defend it in Japan. That would have been amazing.
That would be nice.
Yeah, but yeah, no, we saw Roman defend. Roman did some crazy ass title defenses that some of our favorite wrestlers never did. But I'm going to always look back on this reign as what I feel was Roman's. I think it was honestly his biggest comeback ever, because when he originally was champion, when the company was originally trying to push him, he didn't have a character, he didn't have anything, right? He was he was a bland character, a part of the Shield, and I think that's why most people just weren't into him. They didn't believe in him. But he came back as a heel, and he added so much significance to that title. Man, you have to think of all the names he defended that title against. Cena. He defended it against Brock Lesnar. He defended it against Goldberg.
Yep.
So Roman's title reign really, really means a lot. So Cody has the belt. They really do believe in Cody. They weren't just looking to embarrass him. This company does believe in him. So major props to Cody Rhodes. You got to finish your story, as salty as I am about it. Delta, are you salty about it, or are you happy for him?
I am more happy than salty. I was, initially I was not happy with the idea of it, because I felt again, we were just more focused on just getting the title off of Reigns. It don't matter, and that's just, and I hope, with the way how it played out, maybe more happy the way things are going to go. Where they go from here, though, it does leave you up to suspect. Hopefully they have something lined out. I just hope they have something lined out, because I'm worried that people are going to get fatigued from Cody real quick being champion, and everyone's going to look back and say well, why did we get rid of Roman? Yeah, why did we get rid of Roman then, if you had nothing planned for Cody? I
mean, honestly, because the truth be told, heel champions are just so much more entertaining. That's the problem. It's a heel champion is so much more entertaining because they're the one that you want to see dethroned, and you'll cheer for anybody that goes against them. But they have to be good heels, and Roman did a great job as a heel. He's gonna, honestly, a lot of people are going to remember this championship reign very fondly. They will. They'll be like, oh my god, I remember back in the day when, we were like, oh my god, could he lose the title? Holy shit.
If Roman ever wanted to do another title run again for the rest of his career, I'd be totally fine with that. You want to leave it on a good note, might as well leave it while you're on top, with almost the longest modern era reign ever. So,
let me ask you something. What means more to you? More championship reigns or longer title reigns?
Longer.
Same. 100%. Longer title reigns means you're the man. But more title reigns means like that title was so easily taken off somebody else every week.
That's why I always tell myself, like, initially I always said, like, oh, it'd be cool, you're the 16-time champ, but you lost 16 times, like, in the process. So it's like, that's cool and all, but you lost 16 times versus this guy that's held this belt for over 3 years now. So, and carried the company. And that's the thing, is like, Roman carried that company at its lowest point. It was when they were finally at their lowest point, they actually gave Roman, rearranged what he wants to do, and he finally found his footing. What what they wanted him to be from the get-go. They just had to give him control for once. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm
glad to see it go out. If he never did another one, I'd be happy with it.
It's a familiar story, isn't it? The company suffers until they allow their main star to actually be himself, kind of thing.
It's sad that we had to get to that point for wrestlers to actually have creative freedom with their character, but
I mean,
hopefully that changes now with the new era.
Well, because like having creative control over their characters is something that they had back then, and then when wrestling became corporatized, they lost that like freedom. And now we're back there again, and it's helping. But also Triple H has been a major asset to wrestling. Like I don't understand how in the world of Triple H being a booker, Tony Khan was given Booker of the Year at any point. Like, what? Do you remember that, Delta?
It was, yeah. Again, it was like probably the first year is when, like, again, it was the peak AEW, and unfortunately we're just not there anymore. And it sucks. And I think the main crux for them is just lack of good storytelling. I think initially when Vince was running things sucked ass. Rightfully so. WWE was dog shit. Before, Roman came into play being the heel. And even to some extent, even, like, outside of just Roman, everything was dog shit. It wasn't until finally Triple H finally took control of everything, things got a lot better, and then, like, Vince being out of the picture, the WWE is the better product overall, for the most part. The only thing that's the weakest aspect for me is the women's division, and I'm hoping that improves now that you have a North American women's champion now over NXT. I'm hoping that might change with the main roster, potentially make it a women's intercontinental champion as well while we're at it.
You want an intercontinental? Oh, you want like a transitional belt for the women?
I want a mid-card belt for the women.
Yeah.
I want that. I think that's a way more entertaining to defend on a weekly basis for the women. Gives us something to look forward to, and actually put some more prestige out there for a mid-card belt for the women to fight for.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the women all put on a great performance at Mania. They got to give them all the credit in the world. They did well. I think a lot of the people. I mean, I'm not sure who produced the majority of these matches. I'd have to look into it, but bravo to the producer as well. There's some storytelling elements I didn't even notice there till you mentioned them, like Roman having trouble choosing who to hit with the chair, and he chooses to hit Seth over that grudge instead. I'm like, that's true. Didn't think about it that way. That's actually pretty brilliant. So, yeah, excellent job to the producers of this. Good job to Triple H. I hope I hope AEW takes notes. I just really do. I hope
so too.
I hope they look at this and they say, we can do that with our wrestlers too, but we can do it without known names. Let's make stars.
Just like they did with MJF being there. Like, I'd like to see more people on the caliber of MJF there. I really feel like it's more ex-WWE guys being put into the forefront rather than the guys that started AEW. They're put in the background, in my opinion. It just feels like it's just a WWE alternative again, with just terrible storytelling. Which, again, I hope with Tony Khan, I would just rather have him improve the product for the fans and have both companies going back and forth with giving you a better product to look forward to. Yeah. So.
No, yeah. Apparently, the eclipse is going on right now in some parts of the world right now.
Yeah, I think it's not happening for me right now. I think Florida didn't really get it that much.
Florida is seeing it right now, I think. Or 20.
I'm afraid. I don't have any glasses. Unfortunately, I can't go out there and look for it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that either. Anyway, Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this other recap. We're going to have more videos coming out, more thoughts on stuff. Honestly, wrestling is interesting to talk about right now. So
it is.
It's
very interesting. I don't know about you. Did you check the social media after WrestleMania? Like, my entire timeline was blowing up from everyone. Dude, WrestleMania.
You know what it is? It was bringing in people like Lil Wayne, Logan Paul, IshowSpeed. I know it sounds like Triple H is smart in the sense that he's bringing in the modern day celebrities, right? Like, because back then Vince was bringing in Cyndi Lauper, Mr. T, that kind of shit. Now we're bringing in KSI, Logan Paul, IshowSpeed. I know that they're just YouTubers to some folks, but these people are fucking mega stars on the internet.
That's how you break into the mainstream on like the current generation.
And it's crazy because they're bringing in people that like wrestling. Like, IshowSpeed likes wrestling. You know, those people like wrestling. A lot of internet personalities like wrestling and would be wrestlers as if they could. I would. If like I had the athletic gift that these people do, to do this on a consistent basis every week, be on the road and all that, I would, but I'm too small, I'm too short. I wouldn't be able to fit in any of the divisions in wrestling. But anyway, Delta, if you would like to please say bye to everyone for us, and we'll call it a night or
sounds good.
Morning.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us and watching, like not watching, but like listening to us every week and everything, and leading up to WrestleMania. Looking forward to seeing how things play out from here on out, and we'll look back to you this weekend.
Yes, sir. That being said, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.